Hey folks, it's Lauren from Snowy's here with the BioLite CampStove 2 Plus.
Hit it.
20% more powerful than the original version, cooking with biomass fuel, charging your devices, and comes with a flex light. So this is your camp stove all packed up. It weighs around about 900 grams or just over 900 grams and measures around 22 centimeters long by about 12 centimeters in diameter. Now your actual camp stove comes with a couple of accessories. The first ones being this little flex light, which I'll show you later, your charging cable, as well as some fire starter lights. Now this is your overall bag that the whole unit goes in, but on the inside here we have a second bag, which is actually our little fan battery unit here. So the main body of the stove itself is a stainless steel. Now, as you can see, we've got a couple of legs on the bottom here that open up. I'll actually just do that right now. And we've got on this side, we've got a little fan port, and we've also got a little hole here which has this little heating element. This is the element that receives the hot air from the fire, which will generate the power in your little charging body. And on the outside, we've got this honeycomb mesh, which helps with keeping the outside not too hot. So the next unit we've got here is the charging unit, which is where your 3,200 milliamp battery is stored. It's also where the little fan is that gets pumped from the heating element here when the fire gets going. And we've got on the bottom a little charging port here that your cable connects to, which will allow you to fully charge this from home before you're going off on any of your adventures. Underneath this silicon pad here, we've got a USB output. So this is for either running some small lights you might have, charging a phone, or any other small accessory. And then we've also got our on and off button here at the front with a couple of indicators. So I'll put this all together and I'll show you these indicators once we've got it running. So to attach the battery body to your actual fire, we're going to push this leg in, because this yellow, it's got like this orangey silicon cover here. That's where the base of your power unit or fan unit will sit, but we've got to get this heating element up through this little hole or port in the side first there. So once that's in, we've set this little butt into place, and then pulling this leg out will lock that into place, and it's all put together now. It's not going anywhere. So before we light this one up and show you it in action, there's a couple of factors that you'll need to consider. Firstly, and most obviously, it needs to be on level ground just to make sure that your camp stove's not at risk of turning over. The second thing is that this does use an open flame. So whilst it is a contained stove, it is an active live flame, so it can only be used in non-fire ban season. Another important thing to note is that if it is windy, you need to ensure that the battery pack is on the opposite side of where the wind is blowing the flame. If the wind is blowing in this direction and the flame is being pushed towards the battery pack, you just simply turn your stove over to make sure the flame is being blown away from this side of the stove. Now, the first thing we need to do to get this stove cranking is to load it up. Now, I've collected some twigs a little bit earlier off camera here. So the most important thing that we're going to be doing is making sure that the sticks that we're putting in is not exceeding the top rim of the air vents inside the stove here. So there's, you'll see 2 rows at the top, and it's the one at the very top that we're not going to want to go over. So I'm just going to break up these sticks and pop them in like so. Oh, this one's probably a little bit too long there. And obviously when you're starting your fire, you're going to want to start to use smaller sticks or twigs. And so next we're going to grab our fire lighter and rip a piece of that one off. The packet's quite sealed here. Not sure if we'd probably need to use a whole one, but we'll give it a go anyway. Now get your lighter, your fire source or matches or whatever it is that you have. Just going to try and get it out of the wind here and get this little fire lighter started. And pop it in the top here. Alrighty, now once that's been in there for about 10 seconds and the fire sort of started to kick off, we're going to come around the front here and turn on our on button. So I'm not sure if you can hear that going there, but just one press of the button has, you'll see through here, I'll shade this for you so you can actually see on the camera, but it's got our little battery indicator here on the right hand side, and in the center there we've got our little fan indicator with a little blue light on 1. So that's indicating that the fan is on speed 1, which is the ideal speed that you're going to want to have it on whilst the fire is going. Now I'm not sure if you come over the top here and have a look through the top of the fire, you can see the smoke is starting to sort of twirl a little bit, and the fire is creating a little vortex there. That's because the fan inside is pumping through those little vents to put oxygen inside the fire and really get it going. So this little indicator here on the left hand side has got a little flame symbol underneath it. This is the indicator for how hot your stove is getting or how much heat it's actually generating. So the hotter that your fire gets or your stove gets, the higher that indicator will go, and that also equals an increase in the amount of power that you're generating as well. Now at the moment as it stands, I've put in a couple of those little kindling sticks as I mentioned before. It's on fan 1. It's got a fair bit of heat out of it, but it's probably not enough to boil water or to be cooking food over. So if you wanted to increase the temperature and overall heat of your stove, you just need to be putting more slightly thicker twigs and sticks in. Now these might start off being a little bit higher than the stove itself, but they will burn down quite quickly, but you need to just make sure that they've burned down completely before you start putting your pot on or other accessories or things like that. Now once you start to put in the thicker, heavier sticks, you're going to want to increase your fan speed because that's pumping more oxygen into the stove and it's actually making it burn hotter. So I'm going to probably bump up to the second fan now and you'll hear it kick in. So when I put in these thicker pieces of stick, there wasn't much flame left in the bottom there after I started poking the sticks in because they might have been starting to sort of drown out that flame. But now I've kicked up the fan to the next speed, it's actually pumping more flame back out again, and I can see those sticks are really starting to take light. Now, because I've put a couple of quite fat sticks in there, I'm going to pop it up to probably the third fan now, and we'll see how that's affecting the burn. So I did mention before that it does have a 3,200 milliamp battery on board and that it does generate its own power. But exactly how it does that is through this little probe that we've got here sticking into the fire chamber itself. Now, as that heats up, it sends the heat down into this unit here where BioLite's little thermoelectric generator converts that into stored power for the battery. Now, this fire has actually been running for a fair while. The flames have dropped right down, and as you can see in the top there, it's mostly just reduced to coal. So come around the front and we'll have a look at the little LED indicator again, and we'll see what that's reading and the state of the power pack on the edge here. So if we can have a look around the side here, I'm pretty sure when we started, our little battery indicator only had 4 little lights on it. Now that's got a flashing light at the top here that indicates that it's actively charging, and it has stored a fair bit of power since we've got started. Now over here on the other side we have our flame indicator, which is now increased up to 4. There was a sort of short period of time here that heat indicator was almost all the way up to the top. Now it's important to mention probably here as well that if this indicator becomes full and starts flashing, it means the unit itself is overheating. The fan will instantly crank to full to try and generate air to burn that quick and reduce the heat down. And it's really important at this stage that you stop refueling your stove. Now down the bottom here as well, I've mentioned about this output power port. Now this little flexi light that comes with the CampStove is a little 100 lumen LED light. It is incredibly nifty. It has a USB base down the bottom here, which means we can plug it just straight into the stove. And with this bendy tube, it means you can bend it in whatever position you want. So you could be cooking, boiling water, anything like that. You could possibly just have a little ambient fire here, sitting next to it wanting to read a book. So many uses of this flex light. And the nifty little thing about it is that it's actually a touch light. So it won't actually turn on until we give it a tap, which I'll do there. And I'm not sure if you can see because it's quite a bright sunny day, but it's got a panel of about 12 little LED chips inside of that there as well. So you can actually have a fair amount of usage out of your CampStove. As you could see before with the flame cranking, it has a real nice vibe to it, like the little ambience of a comfort fire almost. It also has a lot of flexibility with boiling water or cooking food on it. There are available BioLite accessories to do that. Otherwise, just a normal hiking pot or pan or kettle would be equally as compatible with this unit as well. So finally, and lastly, as you can see here, the sticks and everything we've put in this little CampStove has burnt so efficiently, it's literally just reduced to ash. So when you're packing up, you need to dispose of that thoughtfully, digging a small hole, popping your ash in, putting a little bit of water on it as well, just to be 100% sure there's no coal there left at all, burying it, following all your leave no trace principles. The other thing you're going to want to do, especially as the storage bag that comes with this is synthetic, is making sure that your stove is 100% cooled down before you're packing it away and getting on with your adventure. So that's about it for the BioLite CampStove 2 Plus. I hope that you are as impressed by this little unit as I am. You can get this at snowies.com.au at our lowest prices every day. If you found this video helpful, give us a like. If you've got any questions or comments, chuck them below. You can head here to subscribe or here for more helpful videos. Catch you later, Snowies fam.